James Harden to the LA Clippers. The rumors were true. The rumors were absolutely true. James Harden, who was on the Houston Rockets for about how many games? Let's see, how many games? He was on the Houston Rockets in 2021. He only played 8 games that season for the Rockets, a team that he was with for what, about 8 years? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 seasons, not a full 8 because, like I said, he only played 8 games in 2021 for the Houston Rockets. Forced his way out of there. You know, the team was going through, you know what I'm saying? They had accomplished, they had hit a ceiling. The team had hit a ceiling. James Harden became a star in Houston, won MVP, led the league in assists, won scoring titles, led the league, you know what I'm saying? Like he done this thing in Houston. And as far as like what they were going to accomplish, they reached their ceiling. I did a similar video about Damian Lillard. Like he hit his ceiling in Portland, all that he was going to accomplish. He wasn't going to get much further. Why? Because of that team out in the Bay Area called the Golden State Warriors. The same thing happened with James Harden. 3 years in Oklahoma City, got up out of there, and became a star in Houston with the Houston Rockets. James Harden on the Clippers. You know your pedigree, your resume, and all is bad when no one cares about this trade, about him going to the Clippers. It strikes fear in no one. Even Clipper fans. Clipper fans can care less. Clipper fans hate the trade. Not all of them. Some love it, of course. It's not an everyone type situation, but for the most part, no one cares. No one cares, and he has not given us a reason to care. He's not given us a reason to care. That first year in Houston, I think that was the season. I think Dwight Howard. Was Dwight there? No. Dwight wasn't there with him his first year in Houston. But that second year was when Dame hit the buzzer beater in the second round. Or in the first round was to send Houston packing. Hit the buzzer beater to win the series. Second year, that was when they made it to the Western Conference Finals. Made it all the way to the conference finals. He and Dwight then got bounced out by, was CP3 on the team? Yeah, no, CP3 was with the Clippers. Yeah, he and Dwight had got bounced out. They actually beat the Clippers in the second round, but he and Dwight got bounced out in the conference finals against the Golden State Warriors. And then came his 2015, 2016. That was the, no, that wasn't the season either. They actually regressed that year, if I'm not mistaken, because they only won they only won 40. Yeah, they won just 41 games. Lost to the Warriors again in the first round. Gentlemen sweep that time. And then 2016, 2017, that season they won 55 games. They were third in the West. And they ended up losing in the second round to the San Antonio Spurs. Not that the Spurs were a bad team, but James Harden, you know what I'm saying? They had a great year. Again, he led the league in assists that year, averaged 29 a game. He was doing his thing. And they did all that just to get bounced in the second round to the Spurs. And then came Chris Paul. 2017, 2018, where they won 65 games, had the best record, I believe, in all of the NBA. All of the NBA. And I called it before the season. I didn't call it because I was wrong at the end of it, but I did say that the Rockets would beat the Warriors in 7 in the Western Conference Finals and get to the NBA Finals when they got Chris Paul. They went to 7, but the Warriors won. So I still won some money because no one saw that coming. Only I did. Rockets pushing the Warriors to 7 games. So, yeah, then they lost to the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? James Harden lost Lost to the Warriors. That was when they missed 27 straight threes. Yes, that was no Chris Paul. I believe on the other hand, there was no Andre Iguodala for the Warriors, but it was still a bad loss because you had home court. And how do you miss? It wasn't James Harden himself who missed 27 straight threes. It was the entire team. How do you miss that many threes? So again, another chance, another failure for the Rockets. And then you had 2019 finished 53 and 29. And this time they have the Warriors in the second round. They have them in the second round. And this time there is no Kevin Durant. I'm running through this because I think it's important just to let you guys know that the common denominator is James Harden. It's James Harden, and no one feels for him in any of these situations. So they go 53 and 29. Warriors don't have KD in the second round. I think did the Rockets start off? I forgot how that series exactly started, but I know it was 2-2 at one point. It was 2-2 and Golden State won 2 straight games to clinch the series. And then came the end of James Harden and Chris Paul, because there was no reason you should have lost that series. And it's not to say that the Warriors were bad, but it's just like were not better. But it's just like when Dame lost to the Warriors in the round after the conference finals. It's like, all right, there's no KD. The playing field is even now. You got Chris Paul this year. You cried all last year saying, oh, if we would have had Chris Paul. And I'm not talking about James Harden. I'm just talking about Rocket fans or Harden fans. You said, oh, we had Chris Paul. This would have happened. That would have happened. Well, they had Chris Paul. And there was no Kevin Durant. And they still couldn't get the job done. James Harden still couldn't get the job done. And that was the end of Chris Paul. And the end of James Harden was coming up soon, because the very next year, they got Russell Westbrook. That was the COVID season. They went 44 and 28, and that's when they lost to the Lakers 4-1 in the semifinals in the bubble. And then came his final season in Houston, where he played just 8 games, and he got up out of there, went to Brooklyn, and I believe he did play when they lost to Milwaukee in 7. He did play in that series, or at least a couple games in that series, but it didn't work out in Brooklyn. Lost to Milwaukee in the second round, and they got swept by the Celtics in the first round. That was when, the whole Kyrie situation was taking place. And then he got up out of Brooklyn, went to Philadelphia, played 21 games that first season there. And they lost in the second round to the Miami Heat 4-2. And last year was really just the nail in the coffin. Well, I mean, we knew already. We knew already. But last year, Game 7 to the Celtics. The Game 7 to the Celtics. Lost Game 7 to the Boston Celtics with a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals on the line. And in my opinion, I can't even really say that. I was going to say they probably would have beaten the Heat, but Jimmy Butler would have had it out for them. Still do. But they lost, and he quit. To me, he quit in that Game 7. Quit in Game 7. Got embarrassed by the Celtics in that Game 7. And that was the last game he played for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now he is with the LA Clippers. He is now a Los Angeles Clipper, teamed up with Russell Westbrook for the 3rd time. OKC, Houston, now in LA with the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Zubac, and all them. The trade in general. Let me see. What did they have to give up in this trade again? Because the Clippers didn't want to get rid of Terrence Mann.
Find that on Apple Music.
Siri, I wasn't talking to you. Anyway, Siri's weird. Yeah, they didn't want to. They were, they stood their ground on Terrence Mann, the Clippers. They would not give up Terrence Mann to the Philadelphia 76ers. Instead, they gave up. Let's see what they gave up. One moment. Not now. So they got PJ Tucker out of the deal. They had PJ Tucker, mainly PJ Tucker and some draft picks. PJ Tucker went with Harden, who I think they are good friends. He went with Harden to LA. LA Clippers acquired James Harden from the 76ers on Monday night, sending back Nicholas Batum to the Sixers, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and KJ Martin. I believe that's Kenyon Martin Jr. And like I said, they really wanted Mann, but the Clippers said no. They were not giving up Terrence Mann. But my thing is, how do you not get Zubac out of this deal? They already gave up a lot of debt for James Harden. The Clippers did. And I don't think this made them better. I think they were better off with who they had. They just had to stay healthy. All they needed to do was be a healthy basketball team and not get injured, and they would have been better off with what they had competing, because they could compete with the roster they had. They can still semi-compete, but I see them, you know what I'm saying? My buddy said that he see them as Phoenix Suns, California. They're just top heavy. The Clippers are just top heavy now. They gave up a lot for James Harden, a 34-year-old shooting guard who forces his way out of every situation he's in, and he doesn't deliver. Because like I said before, I know I said this in the previous video, Houston doesn't owe James Harden anything. They were in great positions to win championships and even make it to the finals. They were in position. No Kevin Durant for that 2019 season, 2018-2019. And you still couldn't get the job done. 67 wins, home court advantage, and you still couldn't get the job done. It was still a close game. We can say, oh, Chris Paul all we want, but who's to say that they wouldn't have gotten blown out if Chris Paul were there? Who knows what would have happened? It was still a close game. Sandwiched in between those four Warrior losses was a loss to the Spurs in the second round, where James Harden didn't show up in the series clinching game. So nobody, we know what James Harden can do in the court, but again, nobody cares, because we know what the final product will be come May, come late April, May. We're not going to see him in June. We know what the final product is going to be. Why should we think anything is going to be different now when he's on a team that's injury plagued, that's always injury plagued? Russ is the most reliable. I mean, I like PG. I like Kawhi Leonard. You know, if you've seen my videos, you see that I picked the Clippers. I picked them last year because I do it based on, like, okay, if nobody gets hurt, this is who I believe is going to be in the finals. I had Sixers and Clippers last year in the finals. I know what they're capable of, but again, like, they have a track record, and that track record says that injuries are going to happen. As a Laker fan, I'm loving this because you got to prove it. You got to prove it. Ain't nobody scared of the Clippers because they got James Harden. We know they wake up to play the Lakers and they're going to always beat the Lakers. They're going to beat the Lakers tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't know who's going to play or what the situation is going to be, but no matter what the roster is, PG out, Kawhi Leonard out, Clippers still win. I don't know what it is. They just wake up the players. I guess, you know, all those years just took a toll on them. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. But as a Laker fan, this does not scare me. The Warriors should definitely not be afraid of what just happened. Because we just named that. You lost to this team 4 times. 4 times in 5 years, you lost to the same team. So, congratulations, I guess, to the Clippers. Congratulations. It's always interesting to see how these, how it's going to play out. Yes, I'm going to be watching because I want to see Harden, Russ, PG, and Kawhi on the court together to see how they look together. Not one game. I want to see it. Remember they were calling Embiid and Harden the next Kobe and Shaq. Remember? How did that work out? They were saying Kobe and Shaq. Yeah. We saw Game 7 against the Celtics in the semifinals. Was that Kobe and Shaq? I remember when the Lakers played Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals against the Blazers in 2000, down 14 points, came back to win and go to the NBA Finals. Kobe and Shaq did that. Remember the alley-oop? Don't ever compare James Harden to Kobe Bryant, because he's never shown that he had that. He is who he is. A guy who gonna put up, and he barely does that now, the spectacular numbers in the regular season. But as soon as we get to the postseason, he pretends to be a leader. He show out for like 1 or 2 games, and then they fizzle out. They fizzle out. When I say there's no reason for certain teams to have lost, for the Rockets to have lost to certain teams, it's not to say that those teams are bad teams. It's to say that James Harden, man, you should be above this already. You should be above this. Like we've seen you win the MVP, the scoring title, lead the league in scoring and all that. When you gonna take that next level, that next step? That's what I be saying. Like, just imagine if the Patriots won all those games every year. They constantly have the bye week, the top seed in the AFC, but they were never delivering. Imagine if the Warriors were just consistently winning 67 games a year, and just Steph Curry showing out with all those threes, and Klay Thompson constantly every night breaking a new 3-point record, but never delivered. James Harden break records, do all these amazing things, triple doubles with 60-point games and stuff like that. But at the end, he never delivers. He never delivers. And I don't take pleasure into saying this. I'm just saying this trade doesn't strike fear in any contending team in the West. The Suns are not sleeping, are not staying awake over this. The Warriors are not staying awake over this. The Nuggets are not staying awake over this. Nobody is staying up because James Harden is now on the Clippers. Because come April, May, we know what's going to happen. He's going to fail to give PG and Kawhi the help they need. That's if those guys are healthy enough and playing in the postseason. And the Clippers are going to go home like they always do. They just got James Harden to add to it this time. So, congratulations. You're going to sweep the Lakers in the regular season, and you're going to go to the playoffs and lose. Not because you're not a worthy team, it's because you have James Harden. And he's just not that guy. He's not that guy. And when he loses, he's not going to care one bit. In the offseason, he's going to do what it is that he do. We see all the Twitter, internet, social media jokes about the strip clubs in LA. How he going to change these strippers' lives. That's what he's going to be doing in the offseason. That's what he's going to be doing. He's not going to care that you guys lost. Oh well, next team. Who's next? What team is next? Who is James Harden going to play for next? Let's go look. After the Clippers is going to be, let's see, I got the list right here. Not Boston, not Brooklyn, not maybe New York. New York. Let's just talk about it now. Let's just guess now. New York, the Knicks are on the list. The Knicks would be dumb enough to sign him when nobody else wants him. He's not going back to OKC because I don't think he likes Sam Presti for what happened after them not wanting to get him the contract that he wanted. Portland wouldn't make sense. Portland wouldn't sign him. They're rebuilding. Utah, no. Chicago, maybe. Somewhere back east. Cleveland wouldn't do it. Detroit wouldn't do it. Milwaukee definitely not doing it. Let's see. I'm just rambling at this point because I'm really guessing. I mean, he's on his 4th team since 2021. He's with the Rockets, Brooklyn, Philly, now the Clippers. Mavericks won't do it. Suns not going to do it. The Kings, they'll probably do it. Pelicans, they'll probably do it. Spurs won't do it. Grizzlies won't do it. He'll be on one of those teams, the Knicks, the Kings, the Pelicans. One of those teams will do it. The Bulls, one of them, they'll do it. Other than that, Ain't nobody checking for James Harden. You should have liked, shared, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about this trade. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that this doesn't strike fear into anyone? We'll talk to you soon. Peace.